lot on social media and on the show, but eating together with your family, there are tons of benefits to it. So Dr. Karyn Gordon is here to talk a little bit about that. It's not to be all sanctimonious, because I would never want to be one of those people that are like, you need to eat with your children. I'm no parenting expert. So our dinners are far from peaceful, and
they're not like candlelight.
No. No. You know, sometimes one of us is just in a really bad mood. Sometimes one child is just grunting. Sometimes they are forgetting their manners, and you know, it's not a beautiful thing all the time. But the fact of the matter is we're doing it every day. So sometimes there's conversation, sometimes there's not, but we're doing it. And we started that tradition ages ago. So you've got some stats for us.
So it's interesting. So you think, you know, you think a lot of us were connected, right? All social media, we're all connected. This is one of the scary stats and the trends that is a little bit alarming when I first saw the research. So Dalhousie University recently did a research study on how much are people eating alone, okay? And the research was pretty scary. 67% of people are eating alone.
That's
67%. And actually, what was interesting, they also looked at in terms of even at the office. So who, you know, who's actually eating alone, who's eating at their desk, right?
Oh gosh, absolutely.
Right.
Eating
so
at
think
the
about
desk.
that, and you know, you look at the West Coast from the East Coast, and the West Coast, not probably totally surprising, you have anywhere from 60 to 68% of people that are actually eating alone at their desk, versus the West Coast is much more relaxed, right? So
the West Coast is more relaxed.
I'm sorry. Yes, the East Coast is much more eating alone, and the West Coast is much more relaxed. About, you know, anywhere from about, you know, about 40%. So you see a trend, and the part that's kind of really scary about this to me is that food is such an emotional and social connector. You know, there's something, right? It's a matter of, and so to me, it's a little bit scary. And so I think it's really important to look at the benefits. Like, why should we really be eating together? Did you actually grow up eating together as a family?
Nope.
You didn't?
No, we didn't. So my dad worked nights and my mom worked mornings, the day shift. So it was my mom and me and Simone every evening together for dinner in front of the Muppet Show, TV tray, having dinner.
Wow.
And honestly, it was not a big deal. I never thought it was a big deal. My dad was around on Sundays. It was normal for us. And you know, like I'm not a drug user. I'm not in jail. So
you turned out okay.
I turned out okay.
And yet you choose to do it as your family, which is interesting, right?
I know.
Right? That's interesting.
We have the opportunity to do it, though, because my husband and I we don't have different shifts. So why not?
Why not? And I think that's part of the reason is when you look at the stats, say, well, what are the benefits then, right? Because, and I think, and so President's Choice did a national survey on what are the benefits of actually when families eat together. And one of the highest, 94%, are it's a connector. People connect. And I think about even in my own home yesterday with my twins and my husband, somehow the topic of our marriage comes up. I don't know how this one came up. Woo! And all of a sudden, our 10-year-olds are talking about how they see our marriage.
How do they see your marriage?
I was like, that's a whole other segment, Tracy. That's all. But honestly, I'm like having my food going, this is like the most interesting conversation. But we would not have had that if we had not been sitting at the table.
That's true.
Right? Like, and so I think, you know, this is so important in terms of the connection, the relationship, and for anybody who is nervous about having preteens, I will tell you, or teenagers, one of the best practices of making sure you've got a great relationship, and this got repeated in the survey from President's Choice, 94% of teenagers feel more connected with their parents when they're having meals together.
Even if they're not talking to you, even if they're breathing,
even just kind of breathing.
Still feeling it.
They're still feeling it.
Okay.
Yes.
Good to know.
It's very powerful, and it's simple, and we have to do it anyway. We got to eat anyway, right? So why not actually do it together?
What do you do when you're driving them to soccer and one has ballet and one has this, and you're in a car and you're eating in the car? Like, how do you combat that?
This is part of it, where you know, when you look at the study, for me, I love to look at, well, then why is that happening? Why are more people not doing it? If there are such great benefits for families, I think we're totally overscheduled. We're doing the divide and conquer. You take her to soccer, you take him to, you know, we're doing that. And I think for work, people are just so overwhelmed that they think, I just have to get more work done. So we've got these barriers. So I think that's why I love doing segments like this, because it kind of reminds us, going, you know what, let's just pause and think about, you know, what can we do to kind of get ourselves back on track, even in a simple way. And so really thinking about the solution. And so, so it's very exciting. Thursday, June the 29th, President's Choice has declared Eating Together Day.
Okay, so everyone needs to find some friends.
You've got to find somebody. Do not eat alone. Okay, find a friend, introduce yourself, and do it at work and actually at the office.
Okay.
Do it at the office and take a photo of you connecting. You are connecting, right? You are connecting with each other, and post up on social media. #EatTogether.
Oh, I love it. If there's anything I learned from traveling East Coast to West Coast, is that people love talking about food. It gets people excited.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what culture you are from, what country you are from.
Yeah. We all have to do it.
We all have to do it, and food tends to bring people together. They get excited talking about, well, this is how I prepare my salmon. Like, I would never do that. This is how I do my chicken.
Yes.
And so do that with each other and post it, and make an effort to just eat with people.
And make an effort to eat with people. And if you're nervous about what to talk about, if you're nervous about what to talk about at work, just say, let's just talk about what was our experience growing up. Did we eat together as a family? Like, it's just what I was asking you. I find I got to know you a little bit more. I didn't know that, right?
Yeah.
You kind of get to know people a little bit in terms of what was their kind of their norms kind of growing up. And at the home, just kind of like throw out any kind of question. I like to do 5 highs and 1 low. What's the 5 highs of your day and what's 1 low? It's a great connector question, and you're doing it over the table. Thursday, June the 29th, eat together.
Eat together.
Eat together.
Thank you, Karyn.
Yeah,
it's
you're
a really
welcome.
good message.